Hello, everybody. This is Rocco DeLeo of the And Dad Make 7 podcast. I have two cameras looking at. Actually, I have three. One of them is actually a screen, and it's going to really confuse me. But I'm looking at a GoPro camera right here. Wow, that's weird. It's this way, but everything's mirror imaged. And I'm looking at my camera right here. What I'm going to attempt to do today is a little mini episode and a little behind the scenes look. This is not a full on behind the scenes look, but I just, I was on a run. You can see I've got my handy dandy. If I stand up here, you can see. I don't know if you can hear me, but my holiday half marathon, which we are entering the half marathon / marathon season coming up here, so I'm pretty excited about that. But I want to get on with the show today. It's going to be a real quick show. I, like many people, I have great ideas while I'm in the shower and while I'm running. And today the idea came while I was thinking about how bad I needed a shower while I was on a run. So I thought I'd start with the video here, and then we'll go right into the audio. And so those of you watching on video will get this little intro and get to watch kind of how I'm doing things. What I want to do is I want to be vulnerable. I want to be transparent and show you some of the things I'm working on here. It's not that hard. I mean, I could be digging ditches. This isn't this hard, but it's I don't know. I'm trying to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. So I'm going to slow it down. And I don't care if it's not perfect. And this is sort of the lesson I'm teaching myself, because I've really been stuck lately in this perfectionist, like who the heck am I? Like, I'm this super duper professional podcast guy. Like, I didn't even go into hair and makeup for this video. So, but that's okay. This is what we do. And this is what I think when I'm doing my best. I am raw and just kind of real. And I have my ums and my coughs, and I don't have a lot of notes. So I have just a little bit of notes here. You can see 3 things that I want to talk about. That's it. So I'll talk more about this in a minute. I want to get the show rolling here, so I have to remember what I was going to do here. So what I need to do, I have right here on my iPad. You can't see it. I want to move it because then it's going to mess everything up. I think it's called Soundbite, and I have a few things on here that get me get the podcast rolling. I also have over here, let's see if we can, we'll have to do this with the GoPro, because I can't do this with the computer. If you can see over there. I have a Zoom H4n handy dandy little recorder. So I am recording into the handy dandy recorder as well as into, I don't know, something on my Mac. So let's get rolling here. Let me make sure I'm recording. I am recording. That's a good thing. It's always bad. So first lesson of recording podcasts: do not record a podcast and not record it. Okay. So let's see how this works. And I don't even have my intro in front of me. So we're going to do a total different intro. Oh, wait a minute. I have to see, I'm not re-recording this. I actually have the intro recorded because I can't remember it. So let's do this. Welcome, friends, to the And Dad Make 7 podcast. This is the podcast dedicated to guys looking to take their faith to the next level. Each week we discuss ways to connect that big book called the Bible with real life for real guys. For all you dads out there, we're going to share ways you can get the kids involved and light that Jesus fire in them as well. Whether you're a biblical rock star pastor dad or a regular guy just like me just trying to figure this all out, this is a place for you. Welcome back. This is where I talk over the music. This is why I got a mixer, because I love to play radio DJ or whatever I've got going here. So this is, I don't even know what episode this is, and I get it. I say that every time, and that's just an excuse for me to be lazy and not remember. But I'm going to go ahead and say I think this is either going to be episode bonus 30 and a half or episode 31. Does it really matter? I have had an opportunity lately to interview a lot of really cool people, and we've already had some of them air at this point. Just depends when you catch up to this. And I'm going to cough. And I say this every time. If you've listened to my interviews, you know I have this thing with this microphone that makes me cough. I think I'm allergic to this little fuzzy thing. So those of you listening to this on audio only, which will be most of you, so I won't reference the video too much. I am doing a little video just to kind of mainly to practice, but also it's forcing me to do everything in one take, because I'm learning about myself here that if I don't do this in one take, I'm going to do this in 400 takes, and I'm not going to podcast for very long because it's already starting to burn me out. So I'm really struggling with this idea of perfection. So I'm doing a little video. I will embed the video on the show notes for this. The best way to catch this, the audio of all my podcasts, is just go to roccodaleo.com/iTunes. Seriously, just subscribe to it. It'll come into the feed. You'll see it all the time. This will be whatever the episode ends up being. It'll probably, let's call this 31, roccodaleo.com/31. But you could just go to my website and you could find it. I mean, really, come on, let's get fancy schmancy here. But what I'm doing on the audio, or what I'm doing on the video, is just kind of showing people how I do this. So I may be a little slower and not as sharp. It may not be Casey Kasem, or that just aged me, but I may not be this professional sounding DJ because there may be some pauses here. But friends, I'm trying to be authentic. So let's do this. Let's play a little bumper music right here just to kind of get us into the next segment. What do you think? I have to press this little button here, and which I see now. My last couple episodes, I was like all crazy. I have to just I need to know which one to put in. It's got to be right. It's got to be the right mood. Really? I just scratched my nose if you're on audio. Does it really matter? Who cares? That was a little loud. See, if I was not doing this on audio, I would have totally redone that again. Let's do it again. You want to hear it again? Okay, now we're going to go into the next segment here. I promised everyone this would be short, and I always lie. It's never short. But I'm looking at 6.5 minutes right now, so I want to get to this. I have 3 things I want to talk about today that are really affecting me. And the Lord has put people into my life. And you know, the things, I interview these people on my podcast, awesome people. And the value they bring me usually comes like after I hit stop recording. And then we start talking, because then I get real. And I've noticed myself in these questions I'm asking my guests, and I think they're pretty good questions. I wrote a post on this. I think it was the one on pride, but that the questions aren't that bad. But are they really me, or am I Walter Cronkite here trying to ask the best questions and trying to show everybody that Rocco can ask the right questions? So I want to talk about 3 things: the resistance, authenticity, and pride. And in a totally imperfection mode, I'm actually going to start with the second one, because I think this is a great segue. I read this book a while ago, and I just talked to my friend Alex Barker about this. It's called Scary Close by Donald Miller. For those of you on audio only. Scary Close by Donald Miller. I was talking to Alex Barker last night. We were doing an interview, and I think we talked longer off the air than we did on the air. And I secretly recorded him on the, he knows, but I'm not going to share that audio because that's just, I'm not going to go there. But I was more authentic when I turned off the recording, and we just started talking about different things. But I did share some of the issues that I felt I'm going through right now. And a lot of them are with this sense of authenticity. I need to be authentic. I am more of a guy who kind of wants to talk off the cuff. And I did that for a few episodes, and I just didn't like it. And so I started being more precise in the questions I ask, particular to the audience, to the what are they called? Guests. And I liked that. It was okay, and I think I had some good conversations. But you know what? This is my journey. My journey is to be authentic and to be a real guy. And I'm like, I think I sound just like everybody else. And there's 4 million podcasts. I think I'm in religion and spirituality, and that is the #1 podcast category out there. So do I want to sound like everybody else, or do I want to sound like me? Because the people I listen to sound just like themselves. If I hear podcasts that are, and it's not about the topic, if I hear podcasts that are like the same as the other guy, I like Entrepreneur on Fire, and I like John Lee Dumas. But if I hear Entrepreneur on Fire with Bob Lee Dumas, and they do the same thing, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the guy that started this. So I'm not going to be Roccopreneur on Fire. I'm going to be Rocco doing And Dad Makes 7 or whatever I end up doing. But I need to be me. So I'm struggling. And thank you for coming along for the ride and listening to my ramble here. So I want you, if you can, to read this book, Scary Close. I read it on a plane and cried like a baby all the way home, and it was really good. So one quick takeaway on that is this whole idea of being authentic and, not being ashamed of who we are, just putting yourself out there, broken. And Donald Miller is a man of faith, and I don't think he gets it's been a while since I read it, but he doesn't get uber faith theological in here. He's more introspective in this book, and it just touched me because it really hit me in a place where I find myself in trying to play this character, and I realized the character that I was playing, that I feel like I've been playing a little bit with this podcast, has been trying to be the perfect question asker and trying to impress people. Okay, guys. Okay, world. Okay, Rocco. We get it. You can read a book and you can get questions out of the book. That's awesome, dude. You have great reading comprehension. You could pass the 12th grade. I want to be more than that. I want to be the guy that can represent my audience and can teach people. And I am a guy right now struggling with my faith, struggling with what it means to be Catholic or Protestant or whatever. I'm in between this world here, and the only thing I could figure out, I think, and I'm glad, I guess, is that I have a relationship with Jesus, and that's who I am, and everything else, nothing else makes sense to me, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to be authentic with that. So moving on, so we don't go to this becomes like a 3-hour episode. The resistance. So this comes from The War of Art. Stephen Pressfield talks about this. Tons of podcasters are talking about this. I wonder if I should hit another bumper right now. Should I do that? Let's do it. This is a long one. I'll talk over it. Is that cool? I've got this little mixer, this Behringer something or other. I'll do a podcast on this one too someday. But and I can do this. I can talk over it. But I notice I tend to make it louder. I think it has something to do with how my headphones are set up. But whatever. So what was I talking about? Resistance. So for Stephen Pressfield, this resistance that tells me that I should record an audio and play around, or a video and play around with this instead of doing the work I said I was going to do, which is what I'm doing right now. The resistance tells us that we have that we should clean our kitchen rather than write our next blog post, or we should wait till we get that new computer before we build our website, or before we start our podcast. We need to have all the mixers and the microphones, or we need to talk to Cliff Ravenscraft and have it all figured out perfectly before we start our podcast. Friends, I'm here to tell you that is a lie, and nothing against Cliff Ravenscraft. I have not taken his class. I would love to take it though, because I think the guy's the master of podcasting, but I digress. My point is that the universe kind of likes mediocrity. I know it's kind of probably a wrong thing and not politically correct to say. The universe does like people who are trying to be more than mediocre, but the universe sort of does push everybody right to the middle, right? So when you're trying to do something that takes you out of the middle, you're going to have some trouble, because the universe is going to tell you, nah, you're doing good. You're going to watch TV, clean the kitchen, do that instead of doing the work that will push you beyond mediocrity. So friends, that's the resistance, and the resistance as you step more into your work, whatever it may be. He talks about it in the context of creative work, but whatever it may be, your spiritual journey or whatever, like when you're praying and then all you can think about is the devil, that is the resistance itself, without getting uber spiritual on the concept of, I scratched my nose again if you're on audio only. I don't know. So fighting that resistance. So friends, the only way to really do it is just do your work. Just get up and do your work. And Alex Barker and I got in a great conversation about this. So I think this will actually come out before the Alex Barker interview. So just mark your calendars, friends, for a few weeks that you'll need to come back. And that's another great reason to just go to rockodilio.com/iTunes, because it will just show up in your podcast app, right? I mean, come on. It's easy. So easy, even a caveman could do it. And then finally, let's do another bumper. What do we want to do? This is a quick one. I got to make sure it's not too loud. Oops, I didn't mean to press that one. But the beautiful thing is, I just turned it off. I love this app. It is called Soundbite. Cliff Ravenscraft recommended it. Here's a good one. See, it wasn't loud enough. Let's do that again. Friends, we're going to go into the last section here. See how I did that? I love this. Is so much fun. I hope you can hear that I'm having a lot of fun, or you can see it on the audio. Or, you can see it on the audio, or you can hear it on the video. So the last one we're going to talk about here real quick, because I want to get going, is I need a shower. I'm telling you, is pride. I had a great conversation with Matt Ham the other day. I was blessed to have him as a guest on my show, and I was like uber fanboy. And this is really, I was like, man, these questions I asked him, I think they were good. And I went back over and over and I prayed about it, but I still feel like I was more of a fanboy interviewing him, but he was gracious. And we had a wonderful conversation, as I do with almost all my guests, after the show was over. And we kind of get real, or I get real. All my guests have been real. I'm the one that doesn't feel like I've been totally real. So somehow we started talking about it, and I know in the context of the interview we were talking about C.S. Lewis and pride. So I went and read C.S. Lewis's chapter on pride, and I wrote an article on that. You can go to roccodelio.com. It's somewhere on there. I could do a pretty link, but you know what? I'm going to spend more time with my family. I'm not going to go on and do a pretty link, but I digress. And you can find it on my Facebook too. So pride, C.S. Lewis talks about pride as being this great sin, right? And it is, because the devil fell because of pride. And Eve, it was Eve, ladies, it was Eve. She ate the apple of the fruity tree of knowledge and all that good stuff. And then, of course, Adam was like, well, she's hot. So I'm going to eat the apple too, because, like, dude, she's hot. So I think I totally blasphemed everything. So I may burst into flames here right now. I don't know. But pride is really getting me. It's getting me a lot. Pride and authenticity really go, heck, all three of these things go. Resistance, authenticity, and pride go hand in hand. Because I'm like thinking, like, this reminds me, a quick story here. I know I'm going over my time, but, it's my show. And, I don't know. I digress. So, no, I almost did another bumper, but I'm not going to. I don't golf. And the reason I don't golf is I thought I was Tiger Woods for a short period of time. So the first time I went golfing, I went with a guy, a friend of mine I used to work with, and he was pretty good. I guess he was a scratch golfer. I guess to me that is like, I don't know what that means, but it was better than me. But the first time I went golfing, I went to a golf course, a regular golf course, not like one with windmills. And I golfed, I think it was like I'm not even sure that's the right term. I golfed. Stroke just seems weird, but 126 or 128, I don't know. And that was like okay. I mean, it wasn't great, but like it felt smooth. It was fun. We had a great time. I swung the thing like a baseball bat. I lifted my foot, and I didn't turn my hips, and I didn't do all this. And it was great. And I'm like, man. And my buddy's like, hey, you know what? You're pretty good. You get a little bit of coaching. You might be able to get that down under 100 by the end of the summer or whatever, So I went and got a coach, and the coach tweaked everything, fixed everything. And I went golfing with my dad a couple weeks later, and I golfed to 90. The only problem was I golfed to 90 after 9 holes, and I was exhausted and I was done. So I just, and I tell you this because I was like, hey, man, I could get really good at this, but I got ahead of myself, and I feel myself getting there now. And so that's why I'm coming on here all sweaty and, saying and not having any format or not really having segments, and just showing you how everything is done, how I have to stop and I have to think about it. I have to look at my iPad. I can't just go, oh, here's this or here's that. So I hope that helps with you. So now what I'm going to do right now, there's no call to action here because I haven't thought of one. I can't think of one off the top of my head here. So I guess my call to action here is just to think about where you are with resistance, the universe wanting you to do something other than what you should be doing. Authenticity, are you being your real self? And then pride, are you stuck in this sense of pride? Are you why are you doing, and I ask this to myself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing my podcast? Why am I writing? Why am I sharing my articles on my groups on Facebook? Why do I say that this is because for the glory of God, and I want to help. If I can help one person, that's all that matters. And then I look at my stats and I go, only 5 people went to my website, and I feel crushed. Or I have 50 people come to my website and I go, yeah, that's awesome. And then I look at some other dude who has like 1,000 people and I go, oh man, you suck. Just have to be authentic. And I'm getting my hands dirty when I can't think of anything else. I'm like God used me, and my son and I shoveled dirt the other day, gravel, and again, I'm afraid to even say it. Like, am I like, oh, look at me, I'm better than you? I'm not. And I got so much out of that. I can't think of any other thing to do. I'm going to keep doing this, but I can't think of anything other thing to do to keep me humble, because I don't want God to humble me, really, because that's scary. I don't know. I'd be naked in the streets and homeless. because he could do that. So, and I'll leave you with this. I think we should get little, this is good. I like doing this. Watch. I talk over this. It gets a little quiet, and then it comes in, and then, oh man. And then see my phone go, or my computer. I need to fix that. It goes into hibernate, and then I can't see myself, and that weirds me out, freaks me out. So, and then I drop my pen. Hold on, I'll be right back. Wow. Rocco, let's maybe be a little bit more professional from now on. I don't even know what I was talking about. So, oh yeah, God uses me. I'm shoveling dirt, and I get so much more out of this than than the people I shovel the dirt for. So, I don't know. I hope this helps. I'm kind of rambling. I'm at like 20 minutes now, and that means my GoPro is going to be a pain because it breaks the videos up into two, and I have to link them up so my lips move right. I don't know. So that's it. I'm gonna hit the next thing here, which is my outro, and it's kind of fun. I like it. Well, I have to wait for this thing to finish. So usually I talk longer than this. I have a call to action and blah blah blah. Rate my show. Thank you, and there we go. I don't even know what to say. I have not memorized my outro. But I'm going to be authentic here. I'm going to say thank you for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Thank you if you've shared my show. If you haven't shared my show, then shame on you. I'm kidding. I'm just totally kidding. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking with me. Maybe go back and listen to my first show, and it was terrible, but listen to where I came from. I was a lot more humble back then, so I'm trying to get back to that. I was more real. I was more raw, just kind of learning how to do this. So what I like about here, and then I'll get going here, is I could see the little green button. I know when I'm about halfway. I like to stop talking so I could get this real loud, so you could just ease out of here. So friends, you can find me at roccodelio.com, roccodelio.com. Email me at rocco@roccodelio.com, or find me on Facebook. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Then I always say something at the end because, you know what? Most of the people have already gone on to the next show. But sometimes when you leave it on in the car, or you're drinking or eating a burrito or whatever, not drinking and driving, it just kind of goes, and it goes on to the next episode. And then you go, hey, like Chris Brogan does this all the time. I love it. He'll have some just little nugget there. So, and I try not to do it every time, but I'm the guy that says, oh, I'm not going to do it every time, but then I do it every time. So I'm rambling. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you. Have a nice day. I'm going to hit stop on this recording.